If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you'll know I often embark on little photography challenges and give myself limitations to work within when I go out and shoot. And in today's video, I thought I'd dive a little bit deeper into why it is that I'm always setting myself these challenges and how those challenges have drastically improved my photography as well. Oh, while also scouting this area and beyond. How things are looking at this very moment. That one's my favorite right now. Maybe different in a bit when time passes, but then using that metal bit of gate on the floor there just to really double down on the ruined element, I think looks cool in the foreground. Bit of gap on this side which gives us a bit of negative space, but this side's going to be quite tight because I have got this building on the left that I'm trying to cut out. Did take a couple of versions where I had like a doorway and a window and stuff in the side, but I like this a bit more because it kind of simplifies the shot a bit. Hi bud, I'm back. Wait for me. Wait. Okay, back to the footpath. Might be a nice framing opportunity here. I want basically the house to sit in here with some space rather than these bricks cutting over the house. Could even come down a bit further like this and block even more out. That's got potential for sure. And failing that, if I come back here in winter, deep winter, when there's more than likely going to be snow here then. As I drop my camera down here like this and get closer, the trees will reveal themselves like that, so I can get all of the trees nicely in this sliver between here and here. So about there, and then shift the camera this way slightly, and we've got this nice space over here where some nice light might appear at some point, and the key is keeping the tree line in between the two pillars. So if I step back a bit, but that actually looks really nice because the way the house is situated, there's a bird flying over as well. Come on, let's go. You really get the sense of this house like looming down the hill and overlooking. And also the fence panels hanging, leading down like that, are coinciding with the direction of the hill. And those birds that have just flown it, I think that might have been one of the most lucky moments. I appreciate the recording camera can't really see over the wall here, can it? I'll get it on the other side of the wall in a minute so you can actually see what this area looks like in more detail. But just while I'm stood on this side, the wall that carries on from the left of me here carries on and leads up to the building there. And I think that makes a fantastic anchor as this bank comes down to the building and hits the tree line. This wall comes in from the other side, kind of anchoring from both sides into the building. And I still want the building further to the right hand side because of the position of the angle of the building. Again, I want that front of the building to look like it's looking down the hill. Alright, so back to the topic of challenges, like I mentioned at the start of this video. Last week I posted a video where I only shot black and white all morning. At the start of this year, I shot with 50mm only for about 8 weeks in the end before I changed my lens. Throughout 2024, I made my way up the coastline, taking 15 photos only in each spot that I visited. And I've done many other silly challenges along the way. And apart from the fact that they're actually just really quite fun to do, why is it that I just always set myself these random challenges? Well, one of the problems I had shortly after I left college, which happened to be around about the time I got my first DSLR camera and started trying photography and sort of delving into it, was that I no longer had anyone setting me work. or holding me accountable. I never studied photography, I never went to university for it. I wasn't doing photography as a job. No one was setting me work. I didn't have to hand anything in photo-wise. And ultimately, I went out with my camera, had a bit of fun, took some photos, but I was a very lazy beginner photographer, spending a lot of time playing video games and drinking beer with the boys, as you do in your late teens, early 20s. I was picking up my camera now and again, taking some photos, posting them to Instagram, gaining a little bit of traction when Instagram was actually a decent platform to be on. And just all round, it was a very, very casual hobby, but I was never really striving or pushing to figure out why I liked taking photos, what I wanted to do with photography. And that was kind of the problem that I was having prior to setting myself challenges and stuff like that. I keep looking behind me just in case a pop of light comes on this side of the building, but that all changed basically when I set myself my first ever photography challenge. And I believe I've mentioned this challenge on my channel a couple of times, but basically I told myself at the start of a year, I can't remember what year it was, that every single month I would take or create 2 photo sets every single month and post them to a web page. Dead simple. I called it 2 sets a month. Dead simple. That web page is now long gone. RIP. So I set myself that challenge just to make sure every single month I was at the very least creating 2 photo sets. But what actually happened was, by the end of the year, I realized I had a much clearer direction. For the first time ever, I realized what it is, what time, when, how I like to do photography, just from doing that challenge for a year. This is definitely the most impressive, not necessarily photogenic, but impressive in terms of, imagine living there, imagine. Now, I may just try and include this fence that's fallen down in the foreground of this one. Really did not expect to find this here with a crazy tree coming out of the roof, or at least grown over and around the roof anyway. I don't think it's actually coming out the roof. Yeah, it's mad. It absolutely stinks up here as well. I think cows have been using it. Possibly. Whew. Right, I'm going to take a photo on the 16-35 because, in classic fashion, as I come round to the front, this track, I'll show you on the camera so you know I'm not absolutely lying to you. You can kind of see it a bit already, but as I come round the front, this goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down. So as I try and shoot the front from, say, over here and get a straight on shot, I'm so low down that I just can't. So I'm going to get the 16-35 and take a shot from this angle here, like this. Right, I've just found this little perch down here next to this wall because it's about the only spot where I'm not getting battered by the wind. I'm also going to hold the mic to try and eliminate that as much as possible for all of those people out there that are like, that mic's got a clip, why do you hold it? Why must you hold your mic? Yeah, so the thing about photography challenges, or at least what I found from doing many of them, is that you normally set them with a goal or a lesson in mind, but then you end up with all these offshoots and lessons that you never knew you would get out of the challenge, which when you accumulate them together actually becomes, in some cases, way more valuable than doing the challenge in the first place. A good example would be 15 photos, one location. The challenge, the meaning of that challenge was for me to slow down and be more observant and, you know, challenge myself to only take 15 photos at a location and then that's it, done. And try and just slow down and notice more, basically. And it played that role, but the bigger realization that I got from doing it was how much I love including people in photos at the coast or in landscapes in general. And I wouldn't necessarily label myself as a landscape photographer when it comes to like wilderness shots or the beach shots or anywhere, to be honest. Including people in them, in the distance, close up, whatever it may be, interacting with their environment and nature and the landscape, I figured out that is something I absolutely love, and that was so valuable, more valuable than what I started the challenge for. I also realized how much I love photographing the coast in blue skies, which in the past I was like, blue skies at the coast, no way. And then I also, on top of that, visited a load of spots that I'd wrote off in the past and said, I'm never bother going there, looks like there's nothing there. But because I was going to every spot I could up the coastline, I found all these spots that are now regular spots for me. So yeah, all these little fragments kind of come together and you end up learning like 4 or 5 lessons from the challenge, where you thought you set out to only learn one lesson or improve at one particular thing. And of course you can improve at these things and learn these things over time just by doing photography, but I think a challenge is almost like a little fast track to finding more out about yourself. So that is why these challenges that I've done over the years have played such a significant role in the improvement of my photography, and it's why I think I will always have a silly little challenge on the go in some way or another. And photography projects, while similar to challenges, photography projects are obviously a lot more serious. You want to be creating your best work for them. You do so much research, scouting, wait for the perfect time to get the photos and stuff like that, and you're trying to get at the end of it a fully fledged body of work or gallery or piece of work, right, with some kind of concept behind it. Whereas with a challenge, you can let those expectations go, just have fun and experiment. And I don't think photographers allow themselves enough time to experiment. I experiment a lot, and I still think I could do with a hell of a lot more time experimenting. Anyway, because I have finally found a spot where the wind is not battering my face, I'm going to have something to eat and make my way back to the subjects that we've already passed today. I did have one more on my list today, but I'm not going to make it there this morning. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to give that its own time another day. I'm going to explore the subjects and angles and stuff a little bit more on the way back to the car off camera, just really think about it a bit more without having to worry about speaking or filming or what have you. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Lots more on the way.